Yes, hello viewers, it's Peter Elgar Photography here again from Brentwood in England. I am going to attempt the impossible this time, show you loads of cameras all in one go, my collection of MINOLTA Auto-Focus cameras. Now I've showed you the manual focus cameras on a previous video. These were all given to me. I've got loads of MINOLTA, I've never had MINOLTAs before. But I'll show you them in date order. The first one is the famous 7000, which came out, according to my research, 1985. This was the first MINOLTA camera with the AF mount, so they don't take the older MD and MC lenses. By the way, I'm not showing you any lenses on this session because it's just going to be too much. But this is the AF 7000, and it's very chunky and heavy, but it works. And this takes, in the side here, I've undone it once, but there's a lot of hassle to get it undone again. It takes 4 AAA ordinary batteries. Now they're easily available. Loads of controls on the front here. You switch it on, marked on. Of course, it's always best to follow the instructions. So you can have it on with a beep, or you can have it on with no beep. Now in this little window you've got the mode, and at the moment I've got it set to M, which is manual exposure mode. Now we press that and we might take a exposure on a 60th of a second. There we are. A little light lights up here as well. That's a strange little light. And it's very hard to press this, I've discovered, and you can easily get shake with these MINOLTAs because you've got to press the release rather hard. But you go up and down on controls here. One is down and one is up, so if you want it a higher shutter speed, you press it here. It's gone up to 125th now, you see. If you want a different mode, you can have it on program, and you can have it on shutter priority. So we press this, now it's on S, shutter priority, so that's 125th shutter priority. You can have your aperture priority here. You can alter the drive by pressing this one, and this will give you a single continuous, and on S, I can't see with my glasses, you've got single and continuous drive. And you've got a self timer as well. You've got an exposure compensation here. It's on 0 at the moment. But if you want extra exposure compensation for snow scenes and stuff, you press that, and then you can press it like that. 0.1.5 extra for snow scenes. Exposure compensation. You can change your ISO here. That's on set 400. Again, you press the up and down. Inside the camera, it was all rotten when I first got it. I had to renew the seals. Now this is rather difficult to get undone. You've got to press a button, and after breaking a few fingernails you may be able to get this MINOLTAs open, this one. Oops, Daisy. That's gone mad now, look. Switch it off. Here we are. If I can undo this blessed button here. There we have. I had to renew all the seals, and part of it's come away here, but that is the vertically running shutter of the MINOLTA AF7000. It's got DX contacts inside for automatically setting the film speed if it touches the DX contacts on the cassette, but you can change it manually, as I've shown you, if you don't want what you want on the cassette. So if you want to downrate an out-of-date film, you can do it with this camera. This has automatic exposure lock. It's a memory. You press that and take a picture. It will memorise what you've set on one of the automatic settings. There's a standard flash contact here. It takes ordinary flash guns, and it has 4 settings here for MINOLTA dedicated through the lens flashing. After that one, they've changed to a Minolta setting here, and none of my flash guns will work. But I have taken pictures with this, and it's chunky and heavy, but it does work. If you don't want automatic focus on all these Minoltas, you can change to manual or automatic focus here by sliding the little switch. You can do it on manual focus. So we'll turn it off. For the minute I turned off, and that's on lock. That's right. Now I'm not taking the straps off because there's a real bind to get the straps on. And the next one I was given in the collection is the Minolta Dynex. These are the 3XI. Now according to my research, it came out in 1991. Now this has the autofocus contacts in the lens as well. This time it's got this strange thing which I've never used. It's got a grip with sensors here, and it gives you an eye start thing. When you touch that and you put your eye to the viewfinder, as you approach the eye, when it's switched on, it will automatically set the camera up ready to take a picture. Now there's no battery in this because it takes a 2 CR5 battery here, and I've only got one of those, and it's loaded in one of the other cameras, so that's no battery. But there's an eye start which is on some of the later ones as well. You've got the similar things, automatic or manual focus. If you want to change the aperture on this, you pull down this little lever. They're all slightly different. You've got program mode on this by pressing this one here. The same as you have on the 7000. If you don't want program, you can press that and you can slide this control here across, and it will change to manual, shutter priority, aperture priority, or automatic exposure. You've got a flash setting here. You can have the flash on continuous for fill-in, or you're going to have it on automatic flash. Here's a built-in flash which you pull up. I'm not going to find the thing. I don't think you have to press anything on this Minolta to pull the flash up. No. Here we are, the built-in flash. Now the AF7000 didn't have that. So there's one of the first ones that have a little built-in flash. But look at the difference in the hot shoe. You can't slide a standard flash in. They've changed it so you can only use Minolta flashes. And that's what I didn't like about this. And also, it has only got a DX coding, and there's the contacts in there for the cassette. You can't load an out-of-date film and downrate it easily because it will only touch on the cassette the metal DX coding things here. That's the metal contacts when it goes in, and it will only set to the ASA of your film. So this is ISO 100, and it's very, very out of date, so I would have downrated that to 50, but there's no means of doing that on this 3XI. Now the next one along is the 500 SI that I was given by a camera club member, and that was 1994 this one came out. It's got similar contacts in the lens here. It's got very similar AF automatic focus and manual focus button here, lens release button there. It's got a flash control here. You can touch that and you can have flash on all the time. You can have red eye reduction or whatever, and got a built-in flash as well. Pull it up there, similar. They're all similar. This time, yes, we have a battery in this, folks. It takes the the CR5, which are very expensive batteries in there. So it's got one in, and this time in the little LCD window, I've got it set to manual exposure, and it's 125th. So if we want it to change, we can change the shutter speed, turn the little wheel. There we are. I'll put it to half a second. We press it. Half a second. Oh, you can see the action here. Half a second. Now that is quite a hard release again. If you don't want manual exposure and you want one of the automatic ones, you press P for program, and it sets it to programmed exposure, where the camera works out shutter speed for you and the aperture for you automatically. If you don't want that, you can change to one of these scene modes here, which this has now got scene modes. And oh, here we are, press here, and then you change it to, and that's how you change the aperture priority. They're all so different, you can't remember how to do it every time. I think you press that one, and you get a load of little pictures coming up in here, and you can choose portrait, landscape, etc. You've got a drive mode here where you press that and you can get delayed action and continuous drive, and on the back you've got AV control here, which is aperture values. If you've got it in aperture priority and you want to change from 5.6 to f11, you press that and you turn the little wheel, and watching there it goes down to f11. Now again, this has only got DX coding, and I have used it but not very often because I use a load of out-of-date film. I need to downrate my films and you can't do it. What I've managed to do is cheat by putting over the DX coding some sticky paper. So if you put in a 200 ASA film, put some sticky paper over there, the camera doesn't have any electrical contact, it will downrate it to 100 for you. That's a way of getting round the fact you can't change the ISO manually. Now the next one up is the Dynex 5, which was one of the top of the range ones. This is all singing, all dancing one, and it came out 2001. One of my most modern cameras, could you believe. Again, the contacts for the lens, and this time it's got, that's the lens release button. The controls are in slightly different positions. Aperture values here, instead of being around the back on the 500 SI, you've got a flash control here. We can press that and look in the little display. Now there's no battery in this. Oh yes there is, I remember now. There's some 2 CR5 batteries in here. Here we can switch it on. Oh, here we are. It's on aperture values now. Aperture values. If I want to change something, I can turn the little wheel, press the aperture values. Here we are. Turn the little wheel, and it changes. You've got to remember, when you've got so many bodies, they're all slightly different. What they do, you can change to spot metering, and you can have the metering in the spot mode, or you can have also the autofocus. You can press this and you can change that area of the autofocus to a tiny little area in the middle of your frame. Now the scene modes are across here, and in order to get those up, you've got to press the portrait one, and then you turn the little wheel, and I think it selects, it jumps, or you've got to hold that down, and it jumps to which one you want. There we are. It's a bit of a delay. Now at the moment it's on macro. It's a bit stiff. Oh, here we are. That's on not shutter pro, sports mode now. That will automatically give you a very fast shutter speed. Loads of things on this. On this control dial, you've got the program, aperture priority, shutter and manual. You take it off by pressing this function dial here. Then you can have it on auto bracketing here. You can have it on multiple exposures. You can have it with a tune it plays or no sound. You can have it on this eye start thing, which when you touch that and you put it to your eye, there's little sensors in there. It switch it on, but I've got that switched off. Now this is the one, the custom setting, which the MINOLTA Dynex 5 has, the others don't have. There's loads of custom settings, and you've got to have the handbook ready to understand what to do with them. But I've got it set so that when the film is finished, it leaves the tongue out slightly like that. So it doesn't wind it all in, otherwise it winds it all in. This is the battery it takes. CR2 batteries, takes 2 of those. Then you have around here the ISO setting. If you don't want the DX coded, you can change the ISO yourself. You can put ISO, press this function button, and then you turn a little wheel here and then changes the ISO to whatever you want. So that's why I like this one as well, because I can downrate my films. I've got a very out-of-date 400 in. Say it's 400, I can downrate that to 200 or even 125 if I want by pressing that. That's very useful. So there's loads of different settings on that. The very last one, which is slightly below the Model 5, is the Dynex 40. And that came out in 2004. Maybe people couldn't get on with the Dynex 5 because of all these custom functions. They brought out a simpler one. But notice here, Minolta's gone over to a plastic lens mount. If you take your lenses on and off, it's going to wear that. It's only polycarbonate. One of the bad things about it. It's got similar things. You can have programmed exposure here. You can have scene modes as well by pressing the function dial. And then you can turn it to on and off here instead of having an on and off switch on the back. You can put it onto the scene modes here. It takes the same 2 CR5 batteries. You can have it on manual or automatic focus. Put it there, and then it comes up in the viewfinder if you want manual focus, or you can have it on automatic focus. You can have bracketing exposure here. Then you can change the ISO as I did before by pressing that, and then you have to turn the little wheel here. Now this has no batteries in, so the little LCD won't light up. But I have used this one because the beauty of this is, oh there we are, even the door opens a different side. They're all different. It opens a different side to the others. There we are, it's all polycarbonate inside. Nothing metal about it. It's very, very light, but how long is it going to last with this polycarbonate construction? It's a bit broken off here. Well, that is. I'll investigate that. I had a look at all the seals, and all the seals were in good condition. Oh yes, what I didn't mention about the 5, it has this dreadful film back lock device. Now, when you loaded the film in, you can't open the door. You see, look, now the 40 had the release here. This one, where's the release? It's this way. You've got to press that now to pull it up. And then they're all slightly different. You've got to get the back open by pressing a release like that. Here we are. Another polycarbonate, but it has this back locking device. Once you've loaded a film, you can't open the back door until you've used the whole of your film. Now, I use a lot of short length of films for experimentation purposes, and this dreadful device on this Dynex 5, I really didn't like that at all, so I haven't used that one a great deal. I've used the Dynex 40. That's enough to give you a headache, I think, so we'll leave it at that, folks, and we'll show you these Minolta Auto-Focus lenses on part 2, because I've got loads of those to show you as well. So hopefully you'll get round your headache and go home and use a Pentax instead. Thanks for watching.